WebGIS and Leaflet.JS. Okay, I hope everyone is always in good health, and thank you to all the participants who have participated in our 5th mini class today. Please keep up the spirit because soon we will learn new things together and hopefully we'll broaden our horizon. Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Jasmine and I will be the one hosting this program from the start to the end of this training today. So, dear friends and colleagues, let me briefly explain today's event. Mini Class 5 is a basic training activity organized by GISACT and CRS-ITB. And GISACT is an independent research organization that uses geospatial information data that supports sustainable development issues, where one of its activities is to hold basic training related to sustainable development issues based on a geospatial approach. If you are interested in joining more advanced training, and you can submit a request to CRS-ITB. And for this training, the topic is related to data visualization in WebGIS and Leaflet.JS, which will be presented by Iqbal Fadhil, a WebGIS engineer at GISACT. Okay, so before we start the training, please allow me to read the SOP during this training. First, all participants are presented 10 minutes before the event start, and then all participants use their own name on the Zoom identity. All participants should dress neatly and politely and ready to follow in a comfortable place and space. All participants should turn off the microphone during the event unless excused by the MC. All participants may turn on their camera during the event and use a virtual background provided by GISACT. All participants can ask questions during the question and answer session. All participants should fill in the attendance list through the link that will be provided in the middle of the event. So I expect that all of you can participate in this training from the start to the end. And then all participants have to follow this training with focus and enthusiasm, of course. All participants are prohibited from using this training material for commercial training activities. And I want to announce that you can join a challenge which you can give the best and most memorable review in this mini class 5. And we will pick 3 lucky friends as a winner who will get the money as a prize. And at the end of our mini class today, we will announce it through our Instagram, so please stay tuned. And now let me introduce our presenter today. Please say hello to Iqbal. Hi, Iqbal. Okay, I will read his CV. First, Iqbal graduated from Bandung Institute of Technology from Mechanical Engineering in 2019. He works as engineer manager at Titik Koma Digital in 2018, and then become engineer manager at Rekalogi from 2018 to 2019. And then from 2022 until present, he became freelance at Odoo Consultant Developer and Functional Usage Tutor. And from 2022 until present, he becomes Business Process Manager at Recology. And from 2017 until present, he is a website developer, website development tutor, and mobile app developer at WordPress Space. Okay, so it looks like all of you can wait to listen to the presentation from Iqbal today. So you can take over now, Iqbal.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine, for the introduction. So let's start our material here. So let me share my screen. Okay, maybe it's still loaded. Okay, so today we will discuss about the data visualization on WebGIS using Leaflet.JS. This is one of the popular JavaScript application that we can use for the data visualization. So if you know about the data visualization, sometimes it looks like the one that you can use using the desktop-based application, but in this case, we are using the web-based application. So maybe if you are not familiar with web application, usually we use web application in our daily life, especially when we have to browse materials in the web and so on. So it is something common in our life, but sometimes it is quite different when we have to develop or build something on the web. So we will start from the introduction to WebGIS and then the basics of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then we will learn quite a bit of some the basic for the Leaflet.JS, the one that we choose for today discussion, and then we will practice. So please prepare your device, especially you can prepare your computer here because I think it is must be a lot easier if you are using computer because it is quite uncomfortable if you are just watching from the mobile phone, or I think it is quite impossible if you try the programming, the code on your mobile device. So let's begin. And then as we discussed previously, web app is something that we usually use. Usually we can access apps on the web browser. For example, you are using Google to take information to search something that you want to know more, and it is something that we use on the web browser, right? So it is something that you must be familiar with. So we can do many tasks and access information, or maybe we can interact with online content. And then the GIS itself is something, a technology that capture, analyze, and visualize the data, especially the spatial data. And then for the WebGIS itself, it is the combination of those two definitions. So it is the GIS app that we run on the web browser. So it must be something quite easier to access when we compare to we have to download, for example, the GIS apps such as the ArcGIS, QGIS. This must be quite quite similar, but it is must be easier to access for everyone because everyone usually have a web browser. So to build the application, you have to know these three components. So you have to know how to code the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. Basically, the HTML is the language to create a web page. For example, if you are opening a website, you can find out the HTML itself. Not every website use the HTML format, but usually it could be accessed and it could be built through the HTML file. And then the CSS is the style sheet. It is the one stands for the cascading style sheet. So you can put the styling, or maybe, for example, when you want to put, is it bold or italic, or maybe it is with red color or blue color for the text and so on. So you put on the CSS, and then when you want to make something with logical things, you can put on the JavaScript. So it is the programming language to make your web application has interactivity. And then this is the, we can call it as the package that we will use here. We will use the Leaflet.JS. It is a JavaScript based framework. So why we should use this one? Because in this case, it is has some pros and cons. And when I compare this framework to another, it is the one that has the clear documentation. So I know that maybe documentation will not be able to give you all of the cases that you want to build, right? But at least if you have the clear documentation, you will be able to build your app properly. At least you know the official documentation from the website, from the Leaflet.JS documentation, the official one. And then uh, still we have some cons here. We have a limited set or several data types only because I have tried to load the shape file directly from the HTML file with the JS and then the Leaflet.js, but still sometimes it is not working because several data is too big, for example, and also usually the package is not always updated. Uh, for your information, creating a program with an external package, sometimes it is not working for maybe if you build for right now in 2023 and then you will try to run the application on, for example, on the 1st January on at 1st January 2025, for example. It is something that it is possible when you take it to run, but it is not working sometimes. So you have to know that one. And then why I still encourage you to use this, because it is still the easiest to understand. They have the tutorials here, like the direct tutorial. You can find the code and then how it works, and then you will be able to run the HTML by using your computer through the web browser directly. So it is something that make your programming journey easier, and also it is suitable for beginners. So we will start by creating a basic map here. So I will send you a file through the chat box. I will send you a file through the chat box. You can download, and if you are using the web browser, you can directly double click the file. Okay, so I have sent the file through the chat box, and then I will show you the file, the code here. Okay, so this is the code. Personally, I really encourage you to use this kind of text editor. This is the Visual Studio Code. Basically, you can use the Notepad, maybe if you are using Windows, or maybe text editor if you are using Mac OS. It is something that basically you can use to do code, or maybe to open text file, but it has no any coloring. So if you want to make your programming easier, please use the proper text editor. The one that I think it is proper is this one, the Visual Studio Code. So you can on your file here. By the way, if you don't know which one that I taught previously about the Visual Studio Code, I think maybe it is easier if I inform you about the which one is the app. So you can code Visual Studio Code here, and then so you can take this one, and then you can download and install the app. So it is something that not really require difficult step by step, but you just download by the operating system, select the operating system, and you can install it right away. So if you're already familiar with installing apps on your computer, it must be easier. And then I will continue to the file. So this is the file. This is from the quick start leaflet. So I will inform you what are the informations here that we will use to build a basic map through the Leaflet.JS. So you will have to create an HTML tag here. It starts from the doc type HTML and then the language itself. Usually, it is easier to use the English language because uh, usually every discussion on the online forum usually is in English, right? And then you will have to put head here. The tag head is start from head here, and then the backslash head, and then you have the body tag from here to the end, and then you will find the end of HTML. And then in the head, inside the head tag, you will find several information here. Basically, this is the place when you want to add the style sheet. By the way, we have two files that you have to load from the leaflet. You have to load the leaflet.css and then the leaflet.js. So you will have these two files loaded. So how to read these lines? First, you will have to put the char set, and then this is usually for the device information that will load this page, and then you will find the title. And also, if you have the shortcut icon, you can find this one, but I don't run this one. It is just created by default from the quick start leaflet. And then you will need to put the style sheet and the script. So you will need to put the CSS and then the GS. And then the style. The style here means the basic styling for the HTML. So you will just inform the HTML tag and the body here. You will find the height is 100%. So you will find the HTML and especially the body will use the 100% height of your browser and then without any margin. And then you will find the leaflet container here. How much is the height and width? So you will know about the leaflet has the container with the specified width and height. And then inside the body, you will only find the div, the map div here, the div with ID map, and then the styling of the div itself. Usually, if you want to have a full screen map, you will need to put 100% width and height. And then you will have the script. The script contains map loading here, and then you will have to set the center point of your map. Basically, it informs the file that you want to see the map for the first time at which point, and then the next number means the zoom level. So if you have too high zoom level, you will find your map is showing maybe the whole world. For example, if you only use one or two, but if you have 13, you will have the specified, as I remember, it is specified town. And then you will have to load the best map here. Which one is the best map here? It is used. in this case, we are using the OpenStreetMap, and then how much is the maximum zoom, and then you can put attribution here. Basically, the attribution is on string. You can put any string here. If you want to change the text, for example, but please attribute correctly, because you will use the best map from online source. So the next one, the next three things that I highlighted right now is marker, circle, and polygon. Basically, you will have three information on this map. You have marker, circle, and polygon. The marker is the pinpoint. Easier, we can say it easier. And then you will have the latitude and longitude. And then the next one is the circle. The circle is the center point of latitude and longitude with the radius here. And then you will find the color, fill color, and then the opacity. And also, if you want to put the pop-up, you can put pop-up like this, the bending pop-up, and then you can put the text here on inside the string, and then you can find the open pop-up instruction. And then you can find the text also for other information, like this one as the circle and then the polygon. And also, if you want to put other pop-up here, since the standalone pop-up, you can put like this. The other function is for clicking position to any position that you can show which one is the latitude and longitude for the specific one. So you can put this one. So we will start the map here. So if you already double click your file, you will find this one. So you will find this kind of map that's showing four components here: a standalone pop-up, and then the triangle, the polygon, and then the pinpoint, and then the circle. So you can find your screen showing this application. So basically, you can have an application by creating a basic leaflet code. In this case, we are not loading the file using external file, but we just use we usually call it as the hardcode information. So we don't use the external GeoJSON or anything. Okay, so in this case, we already have the running web application without any server that you have to run from your local computer. Okay, so it is the basic application, and then I will continue to the presentation. So we already have our basic map here. And then in this case, how if I want to load a shapefile? So I really recommend you to convert the shapefile to GeoJSON, because it is much easier to load. Honestly, even though I said that the GeoJSON is easier to load, sometimes if you have a very large file, for example, like hundreds of megabytes, or maybe gigabytes, it could take a lot of time, and also it is probably time out. It is one of the limitation from the Leaflet itself technically. So it is not about the how is the learning curve for knowing how to use the Leaflet.JS to make a web application. In this case, I really recommend you to convert the file to JSON, and then, for example, in my case, I am using the QGIS, and then I will load the file here, and I will find myself to be able to save the vector layer as the GeoJSON. In this case, I will not showing you the QGIS because our discussion is focused on the Leaflet.js itself. And then we will practice using the GeoJSON. So I will require you to install several package here, because sometimes when you are using the GeoJSON, it is basically you have to run JavaScript based application. So I really don't recommend you to just double click the file. Usually it is not loaded, and then you have to use one of the, I think this is one of the light lightweight application. You can use the HTTP server here. So the first step is install the npm or the Node.js. Usually it's easier to download the Node.js itself, and then you will double click and continue the installation, and then you can install the required package. It is possible for you to install through the Visual Studio Code after you install the Node.js, and then use the several files here. Basically, I have Bandung data for bangunan or building, and then the kantor pos, the post office, and then the administration border, and please put into a directory. So I will guide you from the first step, the npm. So because you are required to use the package, so please install the npm if you don't have one. But if you have one, you can ensure if you have the npm or not by doing the following step. So in this case, I am using the Visual Studio Code. You can use the terminal here. I really encourage you to use the CMD, the command prompt, if you are using Windows. So you can type npm here. If it is showing many information, basically how to use the npm. It is about the npm command, how to access, and so on. It means you already installed the Node.js. But if you don't have one, you have to install the Node.js. Or if you don't have any Visual Studio Code installed on your computer, you can use the command prompt here. You can hit the Windows button, and then you can type CMD. Then you will find this screen, and then you can type npm. It will show the similar information when it is compared to the Visual Studio Code that I already show you previously. So it means your npm works. If you don't have one, you can go to Google, and then you can find the npm install, for example, for Windows 10, and then basically you can find the Node.js official website. you can download the Windows installer, macOS installer, or maybe the source code. But I don't really recommend you to use source code because it must be uh, too step too many steps for you to run the Node.js. So if you are using Windows, just download the Windows installer and then wait up until it is fully downloaded, and you can just install either way, just like installing the Visual Studio Code previously. And then the next step is using the command line or the CMD to install the package. Basically, you need the package of HTTP server. So you can just type the comment here. I will copy the comment to the chat box. So you can type that one. So this is the command. You can use npm install HTTP server. How to use the command? You can use the command on your command prompt. So you can type like this, and then you will find it is installing the HTTP server. So it is as easy as it is. Why it has uh, the DSG? Because it will install globally on your computer. So it will install step by step like this. It will have several steps, just like this one. If you already successfully installed the HTTP server, you can find it is running like this one. You can find there's no any failed information on the HTTP install, HTTP server installation. And then the next step is use the send file through the Zoom chat. So I will send you several files here. I will send you the basic GeoJSON, and then the bangunan.geojson, the building information, and then the counter post office, and then the administrational border information, administrasi LN. Okay, I will send you the file. Okay, so we have 4 files here, and put the files inside the exact same directory. If you are not using the same directory, maybe the GeoJSON file will be not loaded. So I will show you the code here, and then, for example, in this case, I have several files that we will discuss it later. So maybe you will find another files here. So please put the basic GeoJSON, and then the GeoJSON files here, the administrasi LN, administrational border, and then the bangunan.geoJSON, the building information, and then the post office, the kantor pos. So in this case, the administrational border file, administrasi LN, contains lines here. So you will find a lot of information with uh, multiple line string. So you will have a uh, lot of positions here because it contains lines, and then you will find the bangunan.geoJSON, the building contains multi-polygon here, and then you will find the kantor pos, the post office with point data. How about what is inside the basic GeoJSON? Basically, you will have a file here with the similar add, but you will need additional style sheet and script from Leaflet.JS, the CSS one, and then the GS one. And also you will need to put several layers here. Previously, we don't have any GeoJSON layer, right? So we will add the GeoJSON layer here. I sent you the file, the full file, not only the code, because usually if I just copy and paste on the chat box, sometimes it is not working because the indentation or maybe the enter, maybe it could be different from one to another if you copy and paste to your text editor. So I just sent you the file. And then you will find functions here about the GeoJSON layer 1, 2, and 3. So basically, I want to load 3 files of GeoJSON. The first one is bangunan.geojson, and then next one is the kantor pos.geojson, and then the administrasi ln.geojson. The bangunan.geojson or the building file is loaded through this function. So you will find the function is checking is there any files named the bangunan.geojson. Basically, you have to use the exact same file name to fetch the file. If you are using the small b, for example, not the capital B, it could be not working. And then you will find the function trying to catch the JSON, and then it will be added to the map here using the code on the 46 line. And then you will find the catch error. You will not find the error on your screen directly, but you can find the error on your console. The next one is the similar code, but you are using the second code to load the next file. The next file is the kantor pos.geojson. Basically, this is the post office information. Where are the post offices in Bandung, basically. And this function has a similar way of thinking. It has to fetch the file and then adding to map, and also it has the catch error. And the next one is the administrational border, administrasi ln.geojson. You will find the similar code here. Basically, I have 3 functions copied from one layer to another to load 3 files. The next one is the layer control, but we will discuss it later. So it is the end of the basic GeoJSON. If you are just clicking the file right away, maybe you will not find the script. It's loading your files, the GeoJSON files. So we will try to load it directly. So this is the file that I already discussed previously, the basic GeoJSON.html. It basically has uh, a loaded file of three files of GeoJSON, but it has no any information here. Meanwhile, if you are using the HTTP server, it should be working. So how to run the HTTP server? I will show you how to run the file using the HTTP server. So please go to the exact directory of your file, the HTML file that you want to run. Go to the directory. You can use the command prompt, the CMD, or you can use the terminal on your Visual Studio Code, for example. You can type HTTP the server. If it is running, you can find this information. You can find it is available on your local host uh, with port 8080. So I will show you the result here. So this is the difference between the one that we are using local server here, the 8080 port using the 127.1.0.0.1, and with the exact same file when it is compared to the clicking files only, it has no any information loaded from the GeoJSON. So we already have the running information about the administrational border, the lines here, the blue lines, and then we find the multi-polygons here as the buildings, like this one. And then we have the post office information. In this case, we are not using additional information from GeoJSON because it will take a lot of time because you will have to code the information from to fetch the information inside the GeoJSON. So we have the running completely file to load the GeoJSON like this. And then I will show you the next stage of the WebGIS creation. Basically, you have already able to know how to code HTML file. Basically, it is HTML with CSS and JavaScript. That JavaScript and the JavaScript is giving you information for the Leaflet.JS to include your GeoJSON file. And I will show you the next stage is the layer selection and also the legend. Basically, if you are using a map, usually you will have a map with legend, right? It is quite confusing if you are just seeing a map with lines here and then the word polygon, and you will not know what are the lines stands for and then what are the polygon stands for, right? So I will show you how to create the legend and layer. I will send you the new file. Basically, it has a similar data, and you will use the data previously, exactly the same data to load on the next page. Okay, wait up for the file. I have to send you. Okay, I will have to send. I will send you to the file here. It is called as the advanced layer.html. In this file, you will be able to show legend and also the layer selection. So I will show you the result in the beginning. This is the result. You will have the layer selection. You can delete layer if you don't want to show the layer here, and also you will have the legend. Basically, the legend is the is the one that you maybe have to build by yourself. I will leave it for you to maybe to code by yourself here, the self code. And then this is the file. So in this case, I have several information about the legend. It is legend and leaflet control layer. So basically it has two more information here, the control layer and also the legend. The control layer is the one that you can select the layer. You can tick or untick the layer if you want or if you don't want to show the layer. And also you can have the legend. This is the one that maybe you can and change the legend color and so on. And also you can find the similar information here. The diff map is always be shown here. And also you will find the similar information like the map loading and the center point and also the base map. And in this case, we have something, I could say it is something more advanced because we are not using the copy and paste similar code. Previously, we know that we are using similar function like this. You add GeoJSON layer 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you want to add more layer, right? In this case, I want to show you to use the more compact information. So you will only have one function to add GeoJSON layer. Basically, it is similar one, but if it is compared to this one, it has the blank information right inside the function. So it will not use any parameter here. Meanwhile, in this case, you will use the name and URL. The name and URL contains the, if you have the GeoJSON layer 1, it's called the GeoJSON layer 1, and so on. Meanwhile, the URL means the file URL. So you will be able to make the code more scalable like this. So the next step is updating layer control. You have to update the layer control from the JavaScript. You will have to remove and re-add the GeoJSON layer. And also the position, usually it is on the top right. And then the next one is the legend. The legend information. You can find the legend here. Oh, I think it is mistaken. Not forest, right? It is building and building post office. And you can change the information inside the legend. By the way, the legend is static usually, but you can make it dynamic legend, but it is the advanced one, the more advanced one. In this case, I just showing you the static legend. You can find your legend using the background color, or maybe you can using the background image with URL here. And also you can you should add your legend to the map, right? So we will back to the GeoJSON layer. So this is the one that I said it is more scalable because you can add more GeoJSON layer, 1, 2, 3, or 4, maybe 6 or 10 using this one. So you can just put the new name and also the the file. In this case, I am using different a different it's only the different directory, but the similar data. So I just copy the data to directory called data. It has the similar files here, administrasi LM, bangunan, and kantor pos. Basically, it has the administrational border, buildings, and post office. So you can load this one, and then you will have the layer control here. Previously, I just left the layer control is not working here, so we can learn more in the file that we are discussing right now. So we have the base layer, GeoJSON layer, and the layer control. We'll load the base layer, GeoJSON layer with this position right here, and it add to map. So I think as long as you can understand the English from the code, I think it must be easier for you to understand what the code means. So I will show you the result here. This is the result. You will have several information. It is also contains the regions right here. The regions, building, post office, and so on. You can change this one. I left this one for you to code. It is the static one, so you can experiment the code for the region. You can type region, and it is really up to you to put the region. You can add more information on the region. And then you can find the control layer. Is it the one if you want to show the border or not, or maybe if you are just want to show the buildings and so on. So this is the full functioning map with several layers here. We have 3 layers, and we have region and layer control. So you can control the layer if you want to show only the building, if you want to show building and post office, or maybe if you only want to show the border, you can show it. It is very easy to understand if you can eliminate several data, right? If you are showing a map. And also basically the zoom control is the one is given from the leaflet. So I think that's all for the materials here. So I will give the discussion back to Jasmine.
Okay, thank you, Iqbal, for the incredible presentation today. But before we start the Q&A session, I will announce that the staff will send the attendance link through the chat. So for all of you, please fill your data in the attendance link that will be present. And while we wait to fill out the data, maybe we can start the Q&A session. For all the participants who have questions, you can directly ask in the Q&A column, and you can ask in Indonesia or English, so feel free to ask. Okay, there's already one question. Can you give me a presentation? The materials for today, I think it will be all sent to you after the end of the training. And if some of you want to ask question directly by You can also open your mic by
Jasmine,
raising your hand first.
Jasmine, I have something to add. Maybe it could make the audience have more questions here. So it is about, so basically, I will sum up the discussion previously and also showing you what can we learn more about the WebGIS. So we already discussed about the change directory and then show more layer and also the leaflet layer control. We can show and hide the layer if you want or if you don't want to, right? And also if you want to have example, for example, the the, the TIFF the TIFF file, or maybe we can usually call it as the raster file. It is the one that quite more advanced because usually raster file has a huge size, right? And also, for example, if you have a land use and cover using how to show it using diff on WebGIS and also the choroplet. The choroplet, this is the one that you can use to make several coloring, and this is this example from the Leaflet.JS. Usually, it could show you many information with several coloring. So it is quite advanced, and you can use the GISACT to load the external file here. Okay, I think if you want to learn more about the advanced topics, maybe we can have a discussion later, right, Jasmine?
Okay, so there's one question. I will read it out for you. Maaf Pak, tadi waktu bagian nyalain server di VS Code-nya saya ketinggalan, boleh diulang sebentar?
Okay, it is about the how to run the server, right? So I will show you the how to run server. So if you already have the Node.js installed, you will be able to install the server. I want to ask you if you have the installed HTTP server or not? Because if you already install, you can just type the HTTP server right away on your you can type the HTTP server right away on your terminal. For example, if you want to start like this, so you will find your server running like this. It has 127.0.0.1 with the proxy activity if it is already installed. If you don't have one, so you have to install the so you have to type like this npm install http server like this. So you have to install the http server and then hit enter. If you already install this one, you can just type the http server and hit enter. So I think that's the answer about the way how to run the server. Is it answering? Is it quite clear to know about the running server or not? Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, so I will remind you again that you can, in this session, you can ask questions regarding today's training through the Q&A column, or you can raise your hand if you want to ask it directly to Iqbal. I think Iqbal's presentation today is quite already clear enough that no one asked you a question.
Okay, maybe our, our audience can learn more from the shared presentation, right? That we will send after the discussion. Okay, I think we
Okay,
have
there's
question.
one person raise your hand. You can open your mic, Maria.
Okay, is my voice audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much, Mr. Iqbal, for the excellent presentation and explanation about this data visualization. And I have a question about this visualization, and that is, can we add a function that allow user to have more custom that allow user to customize the map, such as change its color, something like that, and allow user to download the shown app, the shown maps we provide. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Maria, for the question. So basically, it is about how to make the web app is editable for the user, right? Basically, if you want to make the file editable for the user, you will have to make a lot of script, I think. Basically, if you want to, for example, there are several examples that we can use to answer this question. I will show several example here. Wait up, I will show a new. Wait. I quite confused about the URL. Okay, for example, okay, this is the. I will show you this application. This is not built by me, but it is based on Leaflet. So, for example, this one, the geotiff.io. Okay, so this is the one that maybe can answer your question. It is possible for you to load geotiff and so on. This is an interactive map. It is based on Leaflet, but I I am really sure that it requires a lot of codes here. You will not be able to just have less than 100 lines of code for creating this kind of application. So it is basically possible to make the map interactive to the user. Uh, and also what's the second question for me? Maria, can you repeat the question, the second one?
Yes. Can we allow user to download the map that we that shown in from the Leaflet.JS we use?
Okay, the one that you mean of the map is the GeoJSON file or the whole map?
The whole map,
The whole map.
like
So if
the map shown.
okay, usually if you have the GeoJSON file with the map, depends on your it depends on your permission for the directory. If you have, for example, I will show you my map that already we discussed today. So if you have this map, it is showing the advanced layer, and basically if you want to download the map, you can right click and view page source, and this is the map file. Meanwhile, you have to be able to access the data like this. If it is possible, you can you can find the, if it is accessible, you can find the view source like this. But it depends on the permission of the directory. In this case, this is the permission from my file, so it is possible to access. I think it is the answer from me, Maria.
Okay, thank you. And can I ask one question again?
Okay. You may
Okay,
ask.
thank you. So you said that if we want to make a more interactive map, like the application you just showed me before, we have to have a lots of code, but it is possible to just use only Leaflet.JS, or you have to use um, another, you know, the another application to build it.
Basically, it is possible to use Leaflet as the base, but you will need more plugins or more package. So,
Oh, okay.
as we discussed previously, when we create the advanced layer, we need the Geoman package here. Meanwhile, when you just use the data directly on your HTML file, it is directly loaded to your file here. So you have the not this one, the basic map. So you have the marker, circle, and polygon directly hard coded into your HTML file. So you will not need the additional package. In this case, we only use the Leaflet.CSS and Leaflet.JS. This is the difference. It is the difference between the basic GeoJSON and advanced layer to the basic map. You will need more package. So maybe if you want to load TIFF file, for example, the raster file, you will need GeoTIFF. For example, it is called as GeoTIFF package and so on. It depends on what you want to show.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for the explanation, Mr. Iqbal. And I'm sorry before because I cannot turn on my camera because of some situation in my place. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Maria. And there's also a question from the chat. Let me read it for you. Thank you for your explanation. I'm interested in becoming a WebGIS developer. Is there a roadmap to become a WebGIS developer? And how did you learn to be a WebGIS developer?
Okay, it's about the learning curve. Yeah, it's about how to learn the WebGIS itself. So I will show you the main or the primary material for learning, especially the Leaflet.JS. I will show you my screen. So basically, if you want to learn WebGIS, specifically on the Leaflet.js, you can go to the leafletjs.com and you can find several tutorials here. As long as I try the tutorial, those tutorials are working and it has no issue. So you can learn about how to make the polygon and so polygon, circle, and the pinpoint. This is the one that we discussed previously, the quick start. And then how about the mobile and so on. You can try the tutorials here. It is as easy as you can open the page and you can find the step-by-step guide here. You can find it is showing the preparing file, and then setting up your map. And if you have already read these all lines from this page, you can find the full example here. You can click the full example, and if you want to learn more about the file, you can just do the right click, and then you can view the source. You can find the source here, and you can learn the whole file. I think it is the easiest way to learn, especially if you want to learn the leaflet. But if you have no any experience in HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, I really suggest you to learn those three components previously before learning the leaflet. Basically, the leaflet comes from the modified page using the JavaScript and the CSS. But if you don't have any idea about the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, I really suggest you to learn those three components. It is easy to learn as long as you have I cannot say it is a correct material, but it's the easy material. So you can find, I think there are a lot of materials, HTML, CSS, and JS. So you can find a lot of tutorials here. So you can find online editors and so on. If you want to learn more about basics of HTML, JavaScript, and so on, you can go to the W3 schools. It's a lot of materials that you can use here. You can use the given script, and you can try it yourself like this. So you can learn one by one like this. So I think it is my answer to how to learn the WebGIS.
Okay, thank you, Iqbal. And I think there was another person who raised his hand. I think it was Ahmad Fairudin. Is there anything that you want to ask to Iqbal?
Sure. Is my voice clear enough?
Yes, your voice is clear.
Okay, thank you, Iqbal, for the materials. I just wonder, suppose that actually I would like to work on something like this, but in different region. Where would I can have like another JSON file?
Okay, you are asking about the data source, right?
Yes.
Honestly, I don't have any specified answer to your question, because you don't specify the place. Usually, if you are in Indonesia, you can go to Google and find several data for the shape files, for example. But maybe if you are in West Java, usually Open Data Jabar has a lot of data too, and it depends on the region that you want to create. Is it still in Indonesia or outside Indonesia?
I am in Indonesia.
On Indonesia, okay.
Yeah,
So
suppose
maybe
that
you
actually
can,
like, I don't know, like Surabaya or Jakarta, something like that. Do you have any idea, like the sources of the data?
I have not trying to, I'm not trying, I don't really know about the Jakarta or Surabaya, because previously I just worked in around West Java, and usually in West Java has a lot of data. Maybe you can go to the Satu Data Indonesia, maybe, if maybe there's any data for the shapefile and so on.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so is there any of you who want to ask question again regarding the training today? You can write it in the Q&A column, or you can raise your hand. Okay, I will wait 1 minute if you still have a question. So please write it in the Q&A column, or you can raise your hand. Okay, I think Maria wants to ask another question. You can turn on your mic, Maria.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity, Miss Jasmine. Then, yeah, I just are very interested in this today's topic. So I have another question for Mr. Iqbal. So I have an interest of building a web-based application that allows user to upload their data, and the application will process it, and it will give the user result of a classification. Maybe if the user uploaded file, it will show whether it is maybe a rice field or not. Do you have any experience of building that kind of application, Mr. Iqbal, that you could share? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. It is about the advanced application that use the user file, and the user can upload the file. The user can upload the file, and also the application can analyze. Theoretically, it is possible, and you can create the script to analyze which are the rice field and so on. But I think it depends on how the logic works. Previously, the most advanced application that I already involved in the project is not that kind of application. Previously, I always get the case that the data is already given from the developer, not the developer, I mean from the client, and the user as the guest for anyone who can access the web page is unable to change the file and so on. Usually, it is about the similar app to the Google Map, for example, and also another case is showing the data, because usually in my case, in my several cases here, it is always about the showing the data that the owner of the page, the client, already have, and they want to show the data to the guest. So in the way that you are asking to me, it is possible, and it depends on the logic. Basically, the JavaScript can handle it as long as you can give the step-by-step direction to make the JavaScript understand clearly about what to filter, what to calculate, and so on.
Okay, thank you very much for the explanation, Mr. Iqbal.
Yeah, thank you. It is quite rare for me to get the case like what you are discussing previously. Because I think it is interesting to make people able to upload the data and analyze and so on. But I have no any similar case that I have done by myself or by my team.
Okay, so is there still a question regarding materials today? I will give you 1 minute until 11:24. If you want to ask question, you can write it on the column Q&A column, and if you want to ask it directly, you can raise your hand first. Okay, so there are no other questions. So this is the end of the Q&A session, and I feel time flies so fast today with us reaching the end of our mini class 5. And before I close this training event, I would like to express my gratitude to Iqbal as the speaker, amazing speaker, who has delivered cool materials. And thank you to all the amazing participants who have joined us. And to remember our meeting today, I will suggest to take some pictures, which will be arranged by the staff. Firstly, please turn on your camera. Okay, I will give you 1 minute for the preparation. Please turn on your camera. Mungkin bisa dibuka dulu kameranya untuk dokumentasi hari ini. Okay, so the staff maybe take over, and don't forget to turn on your camera and put on your best smile, say cheese. Okay, for the staff who responsible for this are we already take it or not? You can take the comment, I think. Okay, we already take the documentation. You may turn off your camera. Thank you, everyone, and I apologize in advance if there are some words or action from me or Iqbal or the staff from GISACT who makes you uncomfortable or inappropriate. I apologize in advance. And this is the end of our mini class today. You may leave the Zoom meeting room and see you in the next mini class.
Thank you, everyone. See you.